This week's channel message from the angels is telling us that now is the time to expand the glimmer. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. I am so glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing these messages that we receive together and expanding these beautiful frequencies that we are getting from the angels. And for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Ann Tucker. I'm a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm, and I do that by going into a deep meditative state or trance, and then from that state I raise my awareness as high as I can go, and then I stretch a little higher. I connect at the angelic realm, and then messages, information, and healing come through, and I share it here with you guys on YouTube every Friday. So today's message, and by the way, my format is I will give us a brief summary of what the message is about, then I will share the original channeling, which I did yesterday. I usually do it on Thursday nights. And then after that, we will break it down, because when the channeling comes through, there's beautiful frequencies. And frequently, when you are in those frequencies, the same thing will happen to you that happens to me, which is that nothing lands. Like I'm receiving the frequencies. They put me kind of like far in the right side of my brain, and language doesn't stick that well. So it can really help to just listen the first time, receive the frequencies, and then listen to the breakdown to get all the meaning. So then it kind of gets both the conscious mind and the subconscious mind involved. So before I go into the summary, I wanted to let you know, if you have ever wanted to ask the angels a question, this Sunday we've been doing these once in a while. We've been doing these, what we're calling our book tour, where we are answering questions that have come up about what's coming next, which is the book that I compiled of all the message we've gotten from the angels about these dramatic events that we're undergoing right now in the shift of consciousness. Some of these events have already happened, lots of them, but there's probably half that are still to come that are in the book that are talking about how this whole process is going to unfold. And so the kind of questions that have come up in past book tour sessions have been everything from, what will dreams be like in the new reality? How will we tell stories if we don't have karma? We don't have that same sort of drama in our lives, which I thought were fascinating questions, but also practical questions like what's going to happen, where in the state that I live in, what's going to happen? Very, very specific and practical questions. So if you are curious about something, if you want to join in, the sign-up link, I'm going to put it right over here for you. It's this Sunday, and you just need to make sure you can submit your question in advance. So don't wait till the last minute, because we have to receive the questions in advance so we can prepare them, and then the session is moderated. And whatever I can answer when I'm present, I will answer, because I've gotten a lot of answers from the angels already. And then whatever I cannot answer, I will go into trance, and the angels will speak to. Okay, so there's that. If you would like to be a part of it, I hope you can be there. So the summary of today's message is, it is about the idea that we have been undergoing. We're in this transformation right now, and it's been happening all around us. And we can see with the gradual, like frog in the boiling pot, that we are in the polycrisis, where it's just like thing after thing after thing. Events that normally would have been on the front page for weeks are now replaced the very next day with something else equally awful, or equally terrifying, or whatever it may be. And so if you just take a glance, if you happen to glance at the headlines, you will see horrible flooding. You will see terrible wars. You will see pictures of starving people. And it is emotionally a lot for us to integrate, a lot for us to, it's very hard to move through life at this point without going numb. And that is the issue, is that we are becoming so accustomed to the dramatic pace of change that we're becoming numb to change. And so what the angels are saying is that we are in this process of saying, oh yeah, lots has changed, but I'm not transformed, right? So much change, but I'm not transformed. Where is my transformation? And they're saying we are waiting for something external to ourselves, that we're sort of like in this pace of being like, okay, all this stuff has been happening all around me. When's the flash of light coming? Like, where is my big external transformation? And what they're telling us is that we are the bridge, that we're not going to go from a place, and this was one of the really interesting parts of the message. They say we're not going to go from a place where we are kind of here, and then all of a sudden we get bumped up to here. They say we are going to build until just underneath that level. And then the flash of light will come and it will move us up. So it's not a sea change. It's not like all of a sudden we're here and then kaboom. We are the ones that have to hold the reality, build the reality until we get here. And so here they're telling us how to do it. And they're saying this is really important right now because of the fact that we are so numbed that it will be easy for us not to do it. So to wait for something to happen to us. So, okay, take a breath, and we're going to go ahead and play the original channeling, and then afterwards we'll follow up with a conversation.
Beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Blessings, we are within. We begin speaking. We speak to you now on the topic of your concern about nothing and everything, all things together at once. You are on the precipice of new beginnings, and yet nothing has changed in your reality. All things are tepid and rise to be seen in accordance with the rules and the knowings you've already had before. It feels to the soul as though movement is fast and slow in the same season, as if change has already come and gone and comes again, but not to the degree that you're expecting. Not as if transformation is viable. And we say to the soul that you are how transformation is perceived. It is not as though the soul is carried only thus far and then solved to surrender to the unseen, as if you are now upon a precipice and shall drop far below into the great crevasse of the unknown, and there is no foreshadowing. There is a gap, yes, that stretches before you now, but contextually, living continues onward. The performance of life is already known. The soul that you are has no foreshadowing that cannot be performed into the mix and the mire of what is now happening. The self as you are must come along for what is change, must be present in the now, must have in their performance of living a centered self that bridges into the new becoming. And in that time frame of the intermixing between then and the new beginning, it shall feel as though life moves onward, as if what once was settled is now only just becoming near to where you are. It is as though change has already happened, is happening, will happen, but where is the great tomorrow? Is it begun yet? Why have I not changed from within, a great lightning bolt striking upon the place of my own enjoyment and shattering the reality that has become careworn and threadbare? I wait for my great transformation. And we say to the soul to be aware that you are the guardian of your reality in this time frame. You are the shaker. You are the concentrator. You are the bridge. You are the one that carries forward into the next moment now what you shall become. And in this time of separation where placement has not yet grasped itself, you shall feel only as far from what was as you are allowing. You shall feel only as far into the new beginning as you have made space for. What shall come to your awareness as delight, as the new readiness, shall be the bridge of your own willingness to perceive something as special, as a renewal, as an instigation. In each moment that lives, in the moment where you are now, there is the perception of what was, the perception of now, and the perception of what could become. All three coexist as if, depending upon where you place your concentration, each one could expand into the now moment and become something of your vision. It is in the choosing that you are orchestrating your own awareness. It is in the placement and the focal point of your own energy that you draw forward and toward yourself what are the new beginnings. To have the awareness within your soul that the external orchestration of change has less mighty of an impact than your internal choice and decision to perceive what is old as something new again, to move into the light that is only just begun to shine, to choose to see in each new happening something of a time frame just opening. These glimmers, though not yet hardy for the awakening, these placements of light that only just start to sparkle, can move in between the rays of fear, resentment, the tides of overwhelm, and break apart into the suggestive something this way has begun. We say that your settled perception of what is reality comes from within, and the external biding of some change waits upon the external. It stands for no one significant offering. It is the waiting for a global impact, for this shifting beyond recognition, the momentary fluctuation of a reality broken apart into two hemispheres of non-belonging and unity. It is this that you wait for. And we say yes, though not gentle, those moments arrive and fall before you now, each one making its own ripple in the great cosmos of your understanding. But as they accumulate and as the ripples rise and bump gently against each other, you become accustomed to the vibration of change. You become accustomed to the formulation of transference between one state of being and the next. And it takes yet again another impact far greater to occur to you as something transformative has settled. We say that the concurrence of many orchestrations at once has inundated your perception. The turmoil of many places have breached into the consciousness of the human. And your tangible ability to perceive change has been quieted, has been muted, as if it will take only the great flash that is coming to shift the consciousness that is already there. And we say to the soul, you are one of great strength to mollify the past, to bridge the now, to open the gateway, the doorway to a new future, simply by the placement of your awareness, your unhesitating grasp upon the moment that is now as something transformative for you. To seek in each moment what is new to be grasped, to open the doorway to your own comprehension. In each moment there instigates something new. And you are part of the puzzle of how this unfolding shall begin. You are a piece of what gently conforms the reality you are in to something much better. You are the bridge, and in so doing, the new reality conforms around you. It opens its doors, it hesitates no longer. It lifts you into the purposeful becoming of someone gently made for a new beginning already in the offering. We say, Blessings and thank you. So, like, pep talk, right? Total pep talk, and beautiful and encouraging. All the things a great pep talk should be. And also a reminder, like such a strong reminder about what we might be feeling, about how easy it is for us to not recognize that we are becoming numb, that we're not feeling, like they said, that we're becoming numb to the feeling of change, which I think is really true. You know, it's hard. How would we not be with everything going on? So I think it takes conscious effort. It's just like everything. I was telling my son about the message this morning, and he's like, that's really hard. I'm like, yeah, that's right. It's not easy to be a light worker. It's not easy to be a way shower. Like to have that much conscious control to constantly choose, right? To notice when we're going down the path of being numb, you know, where things are no longer affecting us, where we're not like, it's an active process of seeking what is new. That's the thing. And it's mental work, right? It's a lot of mental work. So if you guys want, let's go ahead and dive in and break down the message and talk it through. Here is first paragraph. They say, blessings we are within, we begin speaking. We speak to you now on the topic of your concern, about nothing and everything, all things together at once. You are on the precipice of new beginnings, and yet nothing has changed in your reality. All things are tepid and rise to be seen in accordance with the rules and the knowings you've already had before. So they usually lay it out in the first paragraph what they're going to be talking with us about. And here they're doing it. And I love how they say they're talking about nothing and everything, because we are going through this process of seeing so much going on in the world. And we may be looking at all that and looking at things becoming increasingly chaotic and crazy and say, yeah, but where's my big transformation? Nothing's happening. So it is everything, which is like, look at the massive transformation in the world. There's massive change, massive chaos in the world, which is like everything. And yet we're saying, yeah, but nothing, because I want the big change, right? I want the big flash. I want the big moment where the whole world changes. So it is nothing and everything. It's from our perspective, right? It is in truth everything, but we may see it as nothing at the moment, right? So fun use of words in their part. All things are tepid. So that word tepid, it's like meh. How we feel about life right now. Meh. Because it's just like we want something exciting to happen, like good exciting, not bad exciting, something good exciting to happen. So we're in this weird state of just feeling like we've gotten numb because of all the bad stuff. So it's tepid and meh. And so, so they're kind of naming, and not without any judgment. This is with absolute sympathy. How could we feel anything else? Because this is what it is. This is what it is to go through a change like this. All right, next paragraph. It feels to the soul as though movement is fast and slow in the same season, as if change has already come and gone and comes again, but not to the degree that you're expecting, not as if transformation is viable. So that's it. So does it just feel like we're just on the endless merry-go-round of chaos? And it kind of does. Is it really building to something? Like, that's what we have to ask ourselves, as it just seems to getting gradually worse and worse and worse. Are we going somewhere? You know, is the world falling apart? Are we actually leading towards something? Or is it just this chaos of constant bad news? So they're saying it's change is gone and come again, like a merry-go-round, right? But not to the degree. Where is the big moment? That's what we feel. Yeah, the hamster wheel of chaos, exactly. Yeah. So then they go on to say, and we say to the soul that you are how transformation is perceived. It is not as though the soul is carried only thus far and then solved to surrender into the unseen, as if you are now upon a precipice that shall drop far below into the great crevasse of the unknown, and there is no foreshadowing. So here they're saying that so in the first part they say that you are how transformation is perceived. So the actual shift, the big shift in consciousness is happening. The incremental shifts we're going through are happening inside of us, and then even the big shift is going to happen inside of us. And the shifts that are happening now are guided or governed by our perception. And this gets to something that they've been talking to us about recently, which is so important, is helping us to understand how reality is created. That reality is like they said in one of our most recent messages, they've been talking about this, and I think it's so helpful. And I understand now, why did they put that message at this time frame, telling us how reality is created? It's because we need to understand this to understand how important it is that we continue to work on our perception. to work on where we are directing our attention and our focus. Because what they said is that reality is a concentration of our awareness. That the more of us that focus on the same thing, it's almost like all of us being in a movie theater and everyone watching the same movie. But except that we are not passive in that process, we are co-creating the movie. And then as this reality starts to come to a close and the new reality opens, what will happen, what actually drives that process is it's not like it's an external thing. It is a process where some of us stop watching the movie and we start looking at a new movie, right? We start thinking and feeling and expressing ourselves and believing in a new possibility. And we start putting our energy there. And then slowly more and more and more people will come in and join on that vision. And the vision is co-created based on where we align, right? Where we have coherence and where it's like our ideas start to stick together to form a new reality. And in the meantime, we're pulling energy away from the old reality, and it starts to flicker and become less and less and less viable, right? So then slowly there will be enough, and then boom, flash of light, and then we're there. But in the meantime, we got to start this process. Now we got to get right up to the edge of it so that when the flash of light comes, boom, right? That's not true for everyone, you guys. That's because you are way showers. It's because we are the light workers. It's because somebody's got to go first. So we got to start building it now, is what they're saying. So yeah, what about all the other people that are not on the path? We're meant to turn around and help them. Like, that's the point. Like, that's the point of this work. So is it easy? No. But it's really meaningful. It's very inspiring. It's worth doing, 100%, right? 100% worth doing, because at the end of the day, we are all one. So just because one of us makes it, it's not enough. Like, everyone, we got to reach for everyone who wants to come, right? There will be some people who choose not to, who choose to stay in the karmic construct, and that is an okay choice. But anybody who chooses to come, we want them to come along. Yeah. So they say, it is not as though the soul is carried only thus far and then solved to surrender to the unseen. So the idea that we're carried, the way that they choose their words here is really trying to express their point. So it's not as though we are carried. In other words, we got here by our own volition. We are not we're not playing somebody else's game. We're not being carried against our own free will, right? Every little step we take, everything we do comes from inside of us, that we are the masters of our own universes. So we are not carried here. We brought ourselves here. And they say, so it's not as though we were carried only thus far and then solved to surrender to the unseen. So to be solved is to find an answer or to pay a debt. So I love that choice of words, because it's twofold, of course, because angels, as you know, speak, when they use a word, they tend to use all the meanings, and they tend to all apply to the circumstance and add a lot of color, which I think is, because it just is how angels see all realities at once. So it's a really cool way to relate to them when they use these multi words, we can call them. So it is not as though we are solved. So to solve something means to find an answer. So we are seeking answers to our soul, to reality, right? So when we are solved, it means that we have answered the truth, a question of who are we? It is about the integration of ourselves. When we solve ourselves, it is taking all the pieces of ourselves that we pushed away and bringing them back into coherence, balancing our masculine and feminine energy, right? That is being solved. It is being unified internally, which is the step that leads into the state of unity externally, right? We can't go to external unity until we have internal unity, because our inside projects out and creates the outside. The outside comes from inside of us. So unity internal first, unity external second. So, and they say here that it is not as though somebody carried us here and then suddenly we are solved, which means we achieve internal unity, but it also means, solved can also mean paying a debt. So when you solve a debt, it means that the debt is paid off. So we get unity internally. As soon as we have internal unity, our karma is released. So beautiful choice of words, right? Don't you just love that? And they've told us before that when we move to this shift in consciousness, we will no longer be in a karmic system. So cool. I feel like they do those things just to make me happy. Maybe make you guys happy too. So it is not as though we are carried thus far and then solved to surrender to the unseen, as if you are now on the precipice and shall drop far below, like the great leap into the great crevasse of the unknown, and there is no foreshadowing. So it's not like, they're basically saying that it's not like we're going to be just catapulted, like here we are, and then someone's just going to chuck us into the new reality, like way far out there. And they're saying, nope, it's not that, because it's not external, it's internal. Like we are the creators of it. So So then they go on to say, the next paragraph, they say, there is a gap. Yes. So they're talking about this unforeseen like precipice that we're supposed to dive into, right? Like, oh, like, where are we going? It's like, okay, that's not going to happen. But there is a gap, and a gap that stretches before you now. But contextually, living continues onward. So, and I love that word there, contextually, that, so let me finish the paragraph and then we'll go back to that. So there is a gap, yes, that stretches before you now, but contextually, living continues onward. The performance of life is already known. The soul that you are has no foreshadowing that cannot be performed into the mix and the mire of what is now happening. So this is saying that so we are living inside of a context of reality, and we are meant to shift our state of consciousness from the inside out. So as we are going through our growth process, we are going to be actively modifying our experience of life in this reality. So the soul that you are has no foreshadowing that cannot be performed into the mix and the mire of what is now happening. So we might have glimmers of the future, of the new reality. We might begin to feel in moments where we are totally in flow, where we are totally feeling centered and connected, right? Those moments are going to come, but we're going to be experiencing them in the reality that we are existing in the moment. So they're saying there's no foreshadowing that can't be performed here and now. So we are meant to do this now. And they say the self as you are must come along for what is change. And that is because in this process of embracing it, of creating it in the now, we're actually building the new reality, right? They say the self as you are must come along for what is changed, must be present in the now, must have in their performance of living a centered self that bridges into the new becoming. So that is what we're meant to do. We are meant to be the bridge for the rest of humanity, like as many others as we can get to come along, as many as choose it, right? As many as choose it. So, all right, so then they go on to say, and in this time frame of the intermixing between then and the new beginning, so that's kind of where we are. That's the gap they're talking about. We are in the intermixing between what has been and the new beginning. So, and they've been telling us that we've kind of reached the max, like we've reached whatever was required to be able to have these glimmers appearing now. So we're in the process of co-creating the new reality around us. But they're saying it's an active process. It has to be an active process. So we're in the intermixing between the then and the new beginning. It shall feel as though life moves onward, and as if what once was settled is now only just becoming near to where you are. It is as though change has already happened, is happening, will happen, but where is the great tomorrow? Is it begun yet? Why have I not changed from within? A great lightning bolt striking upon the place of my own enjoyment and shattering the reality that is become careworn and threadbare. I wait for my great transformation. I love that. I love it. So they're saying here that as if what has settled now is only just becoming or just happening near to where you are. So what they're saying that it feels like we're just maybe even slightly like we're not that far apart from reality as it's been, is what they're saying, as if what once was settled is now happening near. So we're just a step away. We don't feel like we've gone through this massive transformation. We feel like we're like a little separated from it, and that's probably the numbing as well. But it just feels like it's not that distant. And they say, so we're in that process, and they're saying it is as though change has already happened. We see all the change, but where is the great tomorrow, right? Where's the lightning bolt? Like, when's it coming? So that is, I wait for my great transformation. So this is sort of really naming where we are, I think. And it's hard not to feel this way, really hard not to feel this way. And I love how they describe that it's going to shatter the reality that has become careworn and threadbare. So there's a little of escapism that I think we can have in the time that we're in right now, where it's like we see what's going on in the world and we know we have faith in what's coming. And it can be a little hard not to just be like someone, take me away, like, take me now. I want to go. I want to get out of this, and I want to go to something better. So, like, come get me, it's kind of the feeling it's escapist. And they're saying, even though it would be lovely, the escapism would be lovely, they're saying yes, we have tons of help to help us with this process. But the challenge is we are the reality creators, that nobody else can create the reality for us because it's generated from the collective consciousness of humanity. And without humanity, it doesn't exist. So we have to create it, and we have to generate it out of our positivity, out of our faith, out of our hopefulness. We can't wait for it to come from the external. So then next paragraph, they go on to say, and we say to the soul to be aware that you are the guardian of your reality in this time frame. You are the shaker, you are the concentrator, you are the bridge. So that is what they've been telling us, that how we create a reality is by the concentration of many of our awarenesses all together, sharing an agreed upon reference point of what reality is. And that's what reality is. It's not nearly as solid as we think it is. It's like a swarm. It's like a bee swarm. And at a certain point, like, it could break apart just as easily as a bee swarm does. If you've ever seen a swarm of bees, it's like they all come together at once and they fly all together at once, but it's not forever. And so that's this reality that we're in right now. And we need to start, a couple bees need to start making a new hive. That's where we're trying to go. So you are the one that carries forward into the next moment now what you shall become. And in this time of separation where placement has not yet grasped itself, you shall feel only as far from what was as you are allowing. You shall feel only as far into the new beginning as you have made space for. So let that one sink in, because it's really kind of describing, I think, in a felt way, what it is we need to be doing. So to make space for something, right, when you make space, think about it in a conversation. If you're talking with someone and that person is having a moment, that person is having a hard time, and when you make space for them to have their moment, what do? Like, you take a breath, right? You kind of ground yourself, you center yourself, and you open, right? You open for them, and you become a witness for them. And you create space, you share a field with them while they're having their moment. And that doesn't mean you take on their energy, right? It just means that you are holding space for them. You're sharing a space for them. And you are receiving by witnessing what they're doing, letting them have the moment, letting them have the stage, right? You become observant and present. That's all you got to do. You give the gift of being the witness. And so they're saying that we need to make space for the new reality. So this says, okay, the reality's here, like little glimmers. There's a pocket here, there's a pocket there. These are like potentials that are coming up, kind of rising up as things are crashing and burning, right? As things are being destroyed, which is happening all over the place. So much destruction, right? It's happening. And as each thing is destroyed, that energy returns to the infinite potential of nothing. And from that nothingness, the phoenix will rise, little glimmers of, hey, here's a thing. Here's a little something we could do with this free energy that has come out of the destruction of something. Here's a new potential. All we got to do is be the witness. We got to hold space for it and see it. So is this calling on your intuition? Yes. Is it calling on your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, however you experience your connection? Yes, absolutely. It is saying, like, listen, be the witness for the new reality rising all around us. Glimmers, like little bits, but that's the charge. That's what we're being asked to do right now. So they're saying this, and we as much as we allow. So part of it is going to be holding back our skepticism, which is natural for us. I confess to having a lot of skepticism, and that's been part of my journey. Has been the leap of faith and being willing to believe in miracles, all those types of things. And it is noticing where we're being skeptical or doubting, because, oh my gosh, how many years has it been? I will see that sometimes, and I know that can be the conversation sometimes, like, oh, we've been hearing about this for 50 years. Is it ever going to come? It's like, that's a drop. 50 years is a drop in the bucket in terms of a general picture of time as a whole. It's a drop, and it's a little tiny drop. And so, yeah, so we have to notice our skepticism, hold it back, and then be ready to be the witness and hold space for a new reality that's in the process of emerging from inside of us. And it's really coming because of the work we've been doing, you guys. It is a testament to, like the angels have said, we have made it further than expected, which is super, super cool. Super cool. Next paragraph. What shall come to your awareness as the light, as the new readiness shall be the bridge of your own willingness to perceive something as special, as a renewal, as an instigation. So this is what to look for. And so what they're saying is, don't worry about making a big deal out of little things. Don't worry about seeing something. Look in your reality for things that can be special for you. Like make a big deal out of the little things, and don't feel like so. Okay, there's a thing in our communities where we can sometimes feel like everyone is reading meaning into everything. It'll be like, oh, I pulled up to this dry cleaners at 444. There must be a message for me in the dry cleaners. Like that can be the thing. Like my fortune cookie said this and I got it on a Tuesday, which means it should be, it's like that. That can be the thing where we sometimes feel like we're reading meaning into everything. But they're saying it's okay to do that right now. It is okay to make a moment special, to create the feeling of excitement about change inside of your life, to let it be special, right? And to see the small shifts in your world as not as just a shift, but as a renewal, right? To put more importance on the changes that are happening in your life, to see, did you have a change, any kind of change in your life? Like literally, even if you bought a new pair of shoes, like make it special. Like these are the shoes in which I am walking into the new reality. You know what I mean? Like these are shoes for my new way of being. Like make it special. Like create change inside your life from the standpoint of your perception. Opening the door, holding space, being the witness, and allowing it to be possible. And so this is going to be a little bit like, let's hold space for each other and allow each other to make a big deal out of the small things so that what we're trying to do, think of those little moments as an energy. And we're trying to fan the flames of that energy. It's like a little tiny spark, a glimmer, and we're trying to, blow on it, like make it bigger. That's the idea. Make a big deal out of the little things. So we might feel a little silly, but it feels great. Why not? Why not? It feels amazing. So it's going to be better, easier doing that with like-minded friends. but we've all probably been called crazy by now by someone, so why not continue? So we need to perceive it as something special, as a renewal, as an instigation. So see it as this is the beginning of something. Change is happening, right? That's the feeling we want to embrace. In each moment that lives in the moment where you are now, there is the perception of what was, the perception of now, and the perception of what could become. All three coexist, as if, depending on where you place your concentration, each one could expand into the now moment and become something of your vision. So that really is it, is we're trying to find every glimmer and make it bigger and expand it for each of us, for our world, right? To make our and it's going to be individual, like your world will have more glimmers, where your glimmer will get bigger, right? But that then affects the whole collective. It helps everyone. All right, next paragraph. It is in the choosing that you are orchestrating your own awareness. It is in the placement and the focal point of your own energy that you draw forward and toward yourself what are the new beginnings. To have the awareness within your soul that the external orchestration of change has less mighty of an impact than your internal choice and decision to perceive what is old as something new again. So this is it. They're saying anything happening outside of you is not nearly as powerful as what you are. What's happening outside of you, it can move buildings, it can be a tornado, it can all those kind of things. Like, yes, external stuff can feel really powerful and we can feel really small. But the fact is that it is as simple as a shift in consciousness. I am seeing this, and it's so exciting, you guys, to see with my kids. My kids are in their 20s and they're going through what a lot of people go through in their 20s, is that I think when you hit your 20s, you have your first major it's like the stuff that was generated, the big issues that sort of concentrated in your world and in your family growing up. You hit your 20s and you start going through kind of the first big wave of what are my major themes or blocks in life. You start working on some of the major areas of not believing in yourself or whatever it is. And I see these predominant themes. It's almost like in your early 20s you get one really predominant theme that's just like a heartbreaker, right? And whether it's like the theme of like bad boss, and then finally you work through your issues and the bosses get better, or not believing in yourself, striving too low, reaching for more, reaching higher. You know what I mean? It's whatever the theme is. And you'll see it again and again and again in the lives of people in their 20s. I was totally asleep in my 20s and had no clue about that. But yeah, for me too. So it is this idea I would totally got on a tangent there because it was on my mind. But the external orchestration of change. So it's the idea that stuff that's happening outside of you is not nearly as powerful. And the reason I was bringing that up is to say that when I've seen my kids move through an energy, when I've seen them heal the core issue, then their reality shifts. And I've seen it multiple times now for each of them. When they move through whatever it was that it was at the root of the problems they were facing that seemed insurmountable. And they shifted their own energy, and then all of a sudden, what they thought was a truth, what they thought was this is just how it is, right? It changed because they changed. So it doesn't matter what's going on outside. You are more powerful than that. And everything comes from inside of us. Even the things that we think of as this is just a truth. This is just reality. No, it's not. Reality is just a hive of bees all stuck together. And it can move with, like, literally, you can leave the hive anytime you want. So, okay, so it is the idea of perceive what is old as something new again. Start looking for the glimmers. To move into the light that to move into the light that has only just begun to shine. To choose to see in each new happening something of a time frame just opening. Next paragraph. These glimmers, though not yet hardy for the awakening, these placements of light that only just start to sparkle, can move in between the rays of fear, resentment, the tides of overwhelm, and break apart into the suggestive something this way has begun. So this to me is like a major important paragraph. Because why? Like, why do we need to be doing this? And how does it actually work on an energetic level? And they're saying that these glimmers, if we put focus there, it literally is like the hive of bees. And if there's these energies of like, oh, wow, maybe something else is possible. And if that ripples through the hive of bees, it may start to pull it apart. It's like when you see something freeze and thaw, and it starts to crack and crack and crack, and then it slowly breaks apart. These frequencies of the glimmers, when you put energy there and amplify it, it actually makes a change. It starts to break apart the old reality, which is very, very exciting. Next paragraph. We say that your settled perception of what is reality comes from within, and the external biding of some change waits upon the external. It stands for no one significant offering. It is the waiting for a global impact. For the shifting beyond recognition, the momentary fluctuation of a reality broken apart into two hemispheres of non-belonging and unity. It is this that you wait for. So this is really saying that this idea that referring back to the idea of what we are actually, where we are when we are being passive about what's happening, or when we are feeling numb to change. We get to this space of we're waiting, biding for some change, which is external, waiting for something to come and shift us. Which is funny because there is light, lots and lots of light coming to the planet, but look at the world in general. The light only helps those that are actually open to it. Like, everybody can be standing in the light, but if their eyes are closed, they don't see it. So it's really external. The external change will only affect us if we are co-creating with that light, if we're co-creating with it. So we have to take an active part in all of this. So when they say external biding of some change, I like that word. Again, double meanings. To bide something, to be biding is to be waiting for something, but it also means to tolerate or to withstand. So the external biding of some change. So we are tolerating the change, right? We are withstanding the change. So it is like that, back to that idea of numbness. It's almost like, okay, I just have to get through it. And then we will get to the new change, as opposed to recognizing how active of a participant we really need to be. That this understanding that we literally are the ones that are creating the new reality right now. So next they go on to say, and we say yes, though not gentle, those moments arrive. So the moments of transformation, these moments of change, they say those moments arrive and fall before you now, each one making its own ripple in the great cosmos of your understanding. But as they accumulate and as the ripples rise and bump gently against each other, you become accustomed to the vibration of change. So this is that idea that there's so much happening. Each little incident, or each massive incident, each terrible flooding, and each terrible, God, there's so many things happening, you guys. And each one of these, they describe it as a ripple of change. And they could be really, really big, but after a while, you got your sea legs, and it just doesn't affect us anymore, and we don't feel it. We become accustomed to the vibration of change. They say you become accustomed to the formulation of transference between one state of being and the next. So they really get clear here. What is change? Change is the formulation of transference between one state of being and the next. And we've become numb to it. So that is why they're really trying to drive this point home, right? And they say, and it takes yet again another impact far greater to occur to you as something transformative has settled. So they go on to say, we say that the concurrence of many orchestrations at once has inundated your perception. So this is that idea of so many, like the polycrisis, so many things happening at once, right? It has inundated our perception. The turmoil of many places have breached into the consciousness of the human. And your tangible ability to perceive change has been quieted. So it's just, numb. Has been muted, as if it will take only the great flash that is coming to shift the consciousness that is already there. And we say to the soul, you are one of great strength to mollify the past, to bridge the now, to open the gateway, the doorway to a new future simply by the placement of your awareness. Your unhesitating grasp upon the moment that is now as something transformative for you. So think about that, your unhesitating grasp on the moment as something that is transformative for you. This is seeing change, every little bit, every glimmer of a new potential, and seizing it and trying to amplify it, make the most of it, make it bigger. See it as a frequency. See it as a note in a song. And the louder you sing it, the more that song is heard. So that's our job. That's our job right now as light workers, to help to co-create the new reality, right? To open the doorway to your own comprehension. Oh, here, I missed a bit here. They said, to seek in each moment what is new to be grasped, to open the doorway to your own comprehension. So that's a big one, to seek in each moment what is new to be grasped. In next paragraph, and this is the last paragraph, they say, in each moment there instigates something new, and you are part of the puzzle of how this unfolding shall begin. You are a piece of what gently conforms the reality you are in to something much better. You are the bridge. And in so doing, the new reality conforms around you. It opens its doors. It hesitates no longer. It lifts you into the purposeful becoming of someone gently made for a new beginning, already in the offering. We say blessing and thank you. And I think that by gently made, it's like you are divine, like you are made with gentle love by your creator, or by the creative energy of our universe, however you choose to see that. But it's this beautiful idea that we are the bridge. We have to get us from here to here, and we do that by trying to fixate on every little glimmer and trying to blow on it, try to make it bigger by fixating on the news, trying to best to hold space to see it, to amplify it. So just to kind of go through, like, if I had to do, like, I did like short notes, little cliff notes for myself at the end, if I had to say, okay, what is our action step for this? And I wrote like 4 main points. So 4 main things we can do. The first one is becoming aware. Where is your concentration? What are you focused on creating right now? So what are you focusing? Are you seeing new potentials in this moment, or are you numb to your experience? So trying to become conscious of that. Are we drowning things out, or are we actively looking into our current environment to notice what has changed for the better, or to see what is just any kind of new beginning of any kind? Focus on it, see it, make a big deal of it, right? So that's the first thing. Where is your concentration? Number 2, so noticing your concentration is one, noticing what you're focusing on. Number 2 is the willingness to perceive something as special, right? Look for it and seek what is new. So that's number 2. Number 3, choose to see each new beginning as belonging to the new reality. And that's a choice, right? And this is that idea of expanding the energies, right? To break apart fear, overwhelm, resentment. So we're trying to that when we expand those energies, they move in between the fear and break it apart. That's the idea. So choose to see each new beginning as belonging to the new reality. And then number 4, choose optimism, hope, faith, and belief, right? Not because we are waiting, but because that vibration creates the bridge to a new reality. So it is that idea that believing that this is happening, like really doing your best to hold faith and that letting that frequency work to create it. So it's those four things. One, noticing what we're focusing on. Like, what are we creating in the moment? Are we numb or are we looking for what's good? So what are we focusing on? Number two, notice your willingness to perceive something as special, right? To seek what is new. Number three, to see each new beginning as belonging to the reality, make a big deal out of new beginnings. And number four, to choose optimism, hope, faith, and belief. So if we do those things, then we are helping to create the new reality right now. And we're expanding the new reality where we are. We're making our life, every minute that we're doing that, we're making our lives better, right? And right now, like we are moving up, 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 getting closer and closer to that boundary layer where the earth herself has to shift into a new frequency so that all of us can move into that new state of being. But we can be right up against it, right up there, right? That's the goal. That's I think really exciting. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys, and for sharing these messages from the angels. I really feel like it makes such a difference for us to bring this in as a community, to experience these vibrations, and it really does help to expand the energy, the light that they're bringing us. So thank you so much. I will see you guys again next Friday for our Friday weekly message. Have a great weekend, you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.